Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I'm talking about Project Vampire Killer from Jonathan Raab. This is from Muzzleland Press, and it's got a nice little sticker on here that says Hierarchies of Blood Official Production Documents, and this is the story of a soldier who, or former soldier, who is hired by New Camlo Studios to provide security for their latest film, which I believe it's being filmed in upstate New York. I believe it is in a castle in the middle of nowhere, and so they hire this guy who has had some. It's hinted at that he's maybe had some brushes with some otherworldly things in the past. And New Camlo Studios, it's basically like a Hammer horror. They were kind of a Hammer horror thing in the past. They had shut down. Now they've reopened, and they want to make these sort of classic Hammer horror type movies. They're making a vampire movie, Hierarchies of Blood. But things are gonna be wild. Well, you know what? That was terrible. I'm just gonna read the back cover copy at this point. Gothic horror forever. New Camlo Studios is making a horror movie about blood-sucking freaks, one harkening back to the vampire classics of old. When a down-on-his-luck defense contractor accepts a position as the production's head of security, he discovers that the on-camera terrors are nothing compared to the real thing. Something blood-hungry haunts the forest, something the producers may have known about from the start. What follows is a hallucinogenic descent into the fog-shrouded, blood-soaked, fang-punctured world of cinema as sorcery, archetypal horrors, and subliminal systems of control. So there's your nutshell. For the too long didn't watch crowd, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I'm a huge fan of Jonathan Raab or Rob. I'm never sure how to pronounce it, even though I've interviewed him and I asked him how to pronounce it. I can't remember. But he is a master of what is known as high strange. And as he explained it to me, at least as I remember, as he explained it to me, high strange is sort of this amalgamation of all sorts of different things: cryptids, UFOs, conspiracies, secret government organizations and programs, which I suppose would fall under conspiracies. You know what? Let's see how quickly, if at all, I can find a definition of high strange. If I just throw it in here. High strange. Apparently there's a podcast. Well, let's add definition. High strangeness is an idiom that means something is peculiar, bizarre, or utterly absurd. That's not enough. Here are some other words that can describe something as strange. I don't want that. I don't know. But anyway, when I was talking to the author, when I interviewed him, we talked a little bit about how the X-Files might fall under this, into this category. So that might give you a little bit of an idea of what high strange is. He's written a lot of stuff in high strange, possibly everything. I haven't read everything he's done. He actually has a new book out that I don't have. I've got to get that as soon as I can. So I got to get a job so I can start getting books again. But anyway, so this is definitely in that high strange subgenre. And we meet, well, there's a cold open, like in any good horror story. It's not necessarily true, but for the flow of this, let's go with that. We have cold open, as in any good horror story. Then we meet our main character, the soldier, whose name is something I will tell you in a moment. His last name is Neil. Alan Neil. Um, oh, and I like that we have the book is broken up into pre-production, production, post-production. Since this is a book about making a movie, but we're introduced to Alan Neil. He's down on his luck, but he's called about this job from a buddy of his, and we just get tiny, tiny hints of some things in his past. And obviously, he takes the job, and we meet the rest of sort of the cast, pun intended. So the cast and the people behind the cast, the producer and the director and the makeup people and a couple other security people. But there's strange things going on. There's a strange. We have sort of the trope of the old timer at the out of the way convenience store / gas station who's like, "Don't follow the lights in the woods," with his warning. And I like the behind the scenes look of making a movie. Fascinated by movie making, and uh, Jonathan Raab, he writes interesting characters, and he can write some really, really weird things, but also some just incredibly creepy things. Now, the majority of what I've read from him, I think with the exception of one book, has all been in the world of sort of filmmaking. Um, Camp Winter Falcon is the one exception, and even that has a video element to it. But the very first thing I ever read by him was a short story about some YouTubers, and then the Camp Ghoul Mountain, what it's called, Part 6. The official novelization, which there's like a director's cut of the book. So I got to pick that up and see what's different between that and the original. But it's supposed to be the novelization of a movie, but it also has sort of behind the scenes stuff. So it's almost like you have Blu-ray or DVD extras within the book. But again, movie. And then, well, let's see. What else have we got? Camp Ghoul Mountain Part 6, the official novelization. A Crypt of Blood, a Halloween TV special. So there you go. It's another one of those sort of mysterious, if I remember correctly, is this even a thing that ever aired on TV? The Haunting of Camp Winter Falcon is the one exception. And then I have not read his short story collection, The Secret Goat Man Spook Show and Other Psychological Warfare Operations. But he likes to write, seems to like to write in the world of filmmaking. And I can see why. He's had a couple of anthologies that one was sort of Hammer horror films. They're not listed here. But even the anthologies that he did were fantastic. Anyway, he can write in some incredibly creepy things. And when he's describing whether it's a video on YouTube or a television show or a movie, he does it in such a way that it's immersive and you feel like, at least I feel like, I'm watching that thing. And so you have this mix of the real world of the story, and then the fake worlds of the movies. And what's going on here is every morning they're shooting at night. So at some point in the day, the cast and crew, everybody gets together to watch an old New Camlo Studios movie to sort of boost their morale, get a feel for what it is they're doing. But there might be more to it than that. The book might be a little out there in some aspects for some people. Depends on your tolerance for very weird stuff. I would not put this in Bizarro, but there are some wild concepts, some philosophical concepts. There's, um, excuse me, there's cosmic horror. There's a cosmic horror element to it. There's there's vampires, and there's government, possibly government conspiracies, and there are references to other works of Jonathan Raab, which was nice little Easter eggs. As a matter of fact, one of the movies that they watch is something from Jonathan Raab. Oh yeah, and this is one that for some reason is not. I think it's one of the anthologies, but one of the movies they watched. Spoilers. It's just a chapter title. It's just a movie title. Behold the Undead of Dracula, which is a book. But anyway, I don't know how well this review is going. It seems rambly. It's difficult to delve into Jonathan Raab's works. The easiest thing to do is Alan Neal is hired by New Camlo Studios as head of security on their new movie at a castle in the middle of nowhere in upstate New York, and bizarre things begin to happen and escalate. But there's all sorts of craziness going on, and it's a very weird story that is incredibly well written with great characters. If you're a fan of Hammer horror films, there are certainly aspects of this you're going to like. If you're a fan of cosmic horror, there are aspects of this you're going to like. If you're a fan of High Strange, there are aspects of this you're going to like. All of this stuff is mixed together into what I think is a fantastic story. So I think I've said everything there is to say without saying anything at all. Project Vampire Killer, Jonathan Raab. I can't wait to get his new one and get the director's cut of Camp Ghoul Mountain Part 6, the novelization, because I absolutely love this author, and I'm always excited when he has something new coming out. But 5 out of 5 stars, Project Vampire Killer, Muzzleland Press, Jonathan Raab. Can't recommend it enough. And I mean, recommendations for this, anything else by Jonathan Raab. As I said, the first thing I read by him was a short story that was in not Ghoulish, the previous iteration from Max Booth III and Laurie Michelle. And I wish I could see one of the issues. I know, but the magazine before Ghoulish from Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing before they became Ghoulish. Anyway, he had a story in that magazine. I want to say New Moon Digest. But so that was the first thing I read, was this short story in that magazine. That was the YouTube videos. And I had immediately ordered Camp Ghoul Mountain. Yeah. The titles, man. Camp Ghoul Mountain Part 6, the official novelization. And that blew me away. And I went to Muzzleland Press and just started ordering everything that they had. So, if this sounds interesting, if you've read it and you like it, anything else by Jonathan Raab. Camp Ghoul Mountain is fantastic. And The Haunting of Camp Winter Falcon is fantastic. The Crypt of Blood, a Halloween TV special, is great. The anthologies that he's made are great. I'm going to guess that the other stuff that he's written that I haven't read yet is great, but it's kind of a cheat for a recommendation. But anything by Jonathan Raab, if you like weird stuff, you can't go wrong. So that's it. No question. Just made recommendations. So If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. If you care to follow me on other social media, I'll have links for my Instagram and Bluesky in the description below. And that's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith. Until next time, read more books.